If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VillageXchange. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
And a child will lead them to buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Is the name
For
of the
today's the
song.
name of the band. Fearless is the name of the song.
Oh, it's reversed. You wanted
Let's
to
go.
join the intro. Let's go.
Tell me what should we fear? Everything is hollow. Because our victory is already set in stone. We are the fearless ones. We will not be afraid. We will not be afraid. So we stand in this dark valley. We will not be afraid. For we know that you are near. So we stand in this dark valley. We will not be afraid. For we know that you are near. I can feel the courage rising in the hearts of the sons of God. I can feel a fire burning across the earth. We stand as one. We are not dismayed by the darkness that surrounds us here, because we know that when all hell closes in, if we stand and fight, we are not alone. Though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we are not alone. We will fear no evil.
for today. The name of that song was Fearless. That was for the big homie DJ Nick, who I'm not sure. I haven't seen the homie talk yet, but he is here, I think.
Yeah, he told me to start at 10, so.
Okay, so this...
That surprised me. I didn't expect it to be so explicitly Christian.
For today is definitely... This is definitely a Christian
You should
band.
be able to pick that up and drop it, because it's actually like a photo in there. I think you can just do this. Oh, no. Like this. Right? Then you just shrink it. Does that make it more complex? It does look like it's a little complicated.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I thought it was like going to be so smooth. Like when I was setting that up, I was like, this is going to be so slick. Wow. Okay. I did not expect it to be so explicitly Christian. I appreciated the song a lot. I think that fear is something that, I guess lots of people have to deal and contend with, which is probably one of the reasons why in the Bible it says it 365 times, don't be afraid, fear not, all those things. And it usually follows it up with fear not, for I am with you. I liked it because it basically put to words like the last probably week and a half where like God's been kind of like reminding me of that.
Oh, in your life, you mean?
Yeah, so it was like it just kind of like put it to words, because the thing is like even like the more that you hear what the hell no, the more we go like the more you hear about like the UAP stuff and
Jay in this bitch.
What's up?
Yes. Go ahead.
The more you hear like about like those things, especially that story that like you told the last time where they didn't want to like publicize it or whatever because like the person had like those holes in them, like it was like, crazy.
Yeah.
I guess bad. So when you hear about all those different things, it's like, you know what? It's true. Like we live in like a certain reality where we believe that everything that we believe is true. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden, like you realize that physicalism is not everything like people have assumed for like forever. And so
well, not really forever. Physicalism is a relatively new idea, actually.
What did they believe prior to that?
I mean, people believed in a spiritual world and that the spiritual world was real and all the rest of it. A physicalist believes that the only thing that actually exists are things that are physically material.
Oh, they don't have them combined?
No. There is no spiritual world in a physicalist worldview. Okay, that's why it's called physicalism.
Yeah, I just thought that they were like primarily on that, but that you can't be a physicalist and also believe in the spiritual realm, or can you?
If you believe in the spiritual realm, you're by definition not a physicalist.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought like because like we're obviously spiritual people, but at the same time like we are dominated by the physical world because that's like right there. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't realize that. Okay. Well, then that's different. But I guess there are some people that never think about the spiritual world and just really think about the physical world.
It's not that they don't think about the spiritual world. It's that they think about the spiritual world and reject it as an ontological category. I mean, atheists, people like that, they don't believe in demons, they don't believe in angels, they don't believe in God, right? So that's, they don't believe in the spiritual realm.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I knew atheists that still, like, they would say that they were an atheist, but they still were like, I don't know what happens with these, like, different, like, spiritual situations that would happen. Like, when, like, for instance, like, candlesticks going flying across the room or stuff like that. That's like, what is happening here?
Hey, Nick in the house.
I didn't know. Hey, buddy.
Happens alongside our normal reality that's not normal, but that doesn't make it a spiritual realm. They're just going to say that there's some scientific explanation we haven't figured out.
Okay,
yet.
so then that is included then.
No, it's not. You believe that there is an ontological reality outside of the physical universe. They do not.
And someone that says paranormal believes that there is.
Paranormal, they just believe that, yep, I saw that candle go from there to there, I don't know why. But whatever it is, it's something that we're going to be able to figure out in a lab somewhere.
And not, oh.
That's what they're saying. Because you can't deny the phenomenological experience of these events.
Yeah.
But the where you assume they came from, though, has to do with your philosophy and your religion or your irreligion.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So,
But what was the point though? Like, where were you?
Well, just, like when you're hearing about, because when you talked about like the physical stuff, or when I hear them talking about it in the podcast or whatever, I wasn't kind of looking at it that way. I was looking at it as like, I've always been a spiritual person and believed that there were other things outside of like what the physical world was, but the physical world obviously had like a heavy impact because that's where you mostly live. Like, we're surrounded by physical things, but are we surrounded by spiritual things to the degree that we are surrounded by physical things? We just don't recognize it. We don't have eyes to see it. Like, is that other dimension or whatever as real as this one is? We just don't have the eyes to see it. Or is it more real? Like, I don't know, like, I've obviously believed that the spiritual realm was more real than the physical, but I don't know that lots of people necessarily think that way. I don't know. I can't speak for them. But the point I was getting at is it can kind of feel, when you first started talking about all the UAP stuff and like hearing these different stories, it can kind of be a little bit unnerving because it's like, well, wait a minute. They just drilled holes in these people?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a very popular story for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Most of the, but when you talk about fear, like, you don't even necessarily have to go to the spiritual realm. I mean, I just think like right now, there's a lot of things that people are afraid of. There's a lot of fear building up to this election, and I don't know. The Democrats are saying, oh my God, here we go again. With the democracy's on the line. We're going to lose democracy if we don't vote for Joe Biden. And the DNC completely shut down the Democratic primaries. But we have to vote for Biden. Otherwise, we're going to lose our democracy. And then the right wing is like, we have to vote for Trump because, if we give it to Biden, we're going to be replaced. And so it's like all this fear that's happening right now. Everybody's like fearful. There's food insecurity. There's the nuclear stuff. There's a bunch of anybody that's got family in Gaza and the Gaza Strip and even the West Bank now is running around in fear. There's just a lot of tension right now. And unfortunately, there are select our political apparatus feeds off of that.
Yep.
I mean, if you really think about it, the last 6 or 7 years has been nothing but fear baiting. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, Donald Trump is a Russian asset. And you literally had millions of Americans really walking around terrified because Donald Trump was they were going to wake up one day and we're all going to be speaking, Russian at some point because they truly believed that our president was in the hands of the Russian government. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just crazy, like how much fear mongering works. And then I go back to like 9/11, and they did that. They took advantage of the fear for the Patriot Act. So when I look at whatever your religion is or whatever your philosophy is, it has got to tackle the concept of fear head on. And the complex of emotions that make up fear, if you really think through them, they're really, really complex. At the surface level, especially now in the modern age, everybody's telling you that if you feel fear, it's bad. If you feel fear, it's wrong, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like that's the cultural assumption, is we want to get away from fear as much as possible. You see it reflected in the song, like, we're not going to be afraid. But it's like, well, why do we have fear in the first place? It's not a good thing to never be afraid of something. Like, as a matter of fact, like, that's actually one of the less common or less commonly popular understandings of sociopathy or psychopathy, is that a lot of times them dudes are not scared. They're not afraid.
Yeah.
Like when I see some of the shit Vaughn did on camera, like you could just tell he had no fear whatsoever. Like none. You're chasing dudes out in broad daylight. You're a multi-millionaire. But you could just tell, and he's hawking this dude down, shooting at him. And I'm just like, he's got no fear whatsoever. But obviously, this dude was a psychopath. So it's like, so you can't be completely extreme and have no fear. Even if you're a secularist, you're going to say there's an obvious evolutionary, benefit to the concept of fear.
Yeah.
Because even though we're the apex predator because we can outthink not because we can out-brawn. So it's like, you better be scared of that bear, or you better be scared of that snake. See what I'm saying? So, nature would just select you out. Like, if you were one of them real gangster motherfuckers back in the days out in the caves and the wildebeest didn't scare you, that's okay. Nature will just select you and everybody out who isn't scared. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, what, philosophically speaking, you have got to deal with fear directly. That's one of, there's 365 times in the Bible where you're commanded not to be afraid and all that stuff. But I just think on a really practical level, like your philosophy, whatever, a large chunk of it is going to have to deal with unpacking the complex box that fear is, because we're having this debate
is a box, too.
In the house where the Inuit people, their kids that get sucked in these rip tides or rip currents, and instead of saying to their kid, listen, 2-year-old, we're seafaring people, and so you're always going to be by water, but you're not big enough or strong enough yet, and you're going to get caught in some rip current, and you're not going to understand that you need to swim parallel to the current until you get out of the... Kid doesn't understand that, so what do they tell him? They tell him, look, there's a giant monster in that ocean that snatches up little babies and takes them from their parents and never see them again. And so that's a situation where the parent is concocting a story and front-loading fear.
Yep.
And so there was a debate in our house, like, is this kosher to do? Aren't you lying to these kids? Blah, blah, blah. And, my solution was, no, you're not lying to the kid, because you have to speak to the child in language that he or she can understand. So anthropomorphizing a danger like a rip current, I don't think is lying to a child, because kids can only function, especially at that age, in relational terms. So impersonal forces, kids aren't very good at. If
they don't get
a 2-year-old,
then they'll say it's not important.
Well, if they don't get it, they're not going to tell you that if they're 6 months or a year or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Kids, the first things that kids understand, aside from the fact that they understand relationships before they understand that their finger is their finger. So everything with a kid is relational, and so for them, when they're communicating that, they're communicating in a relational sense, that there's this personal monster who's going to personally take you away from your family, because they do not operate with the concept of forces yet.
Yep.
Impersonal forces that, like gravity and things like that, that at this point I'm not particularly sure are not rooted in a person anyway.
Right.
So it's a very complex idea. Then it's not always good to say I'm not going to be afraid. And then we use terms like caution and warning and things like that, but all of those things operate within the complex of fear. And so, like religions have been notorious for using fear in order to control people. And if you listen to a lot of the preaching, especially the Pentecostal preaching that we came up on, you kind of have to admit that, fear is a major driver. It's hell, 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 hell. It's not people are so overcome by the goodness of God, but they can't help but join the team. It's, I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think what I've come down to is both fuels can run a car for 5 miles. So like you can put fear in the engine and you can get from A to B, or you can put love in the engine and get from A to B. You can get both. You can get there both ways, but you're not going to get from New York to California with fear in the engine.
Yeah.
In other words, fear is a primary motivator, cannot be sustained. Thankfully.
I think because there's a scripture in Jude that talks about basically like warning somebody and snatching them from the flames, and it almost sounds like that's like a sort of like, this is where you're going. I do think that like psychologically sometimes like a jolt can be helpful if you're in certain circumstances and you're just too comfortable, but I agree with you. I don't think that sort of terrifying fear, I don't know, because it also says like that basically like how you start something is how it's going to go, like it's not going to deviate. So are you saying it's never appropriate to use the fear of hell to motivate somebody to wake up?
It cannot be the primary motivator for a person's life. That's why I said like a 5 mile car ride, sure, fear can get you there. But New York to California, which
It's not-
I'm
yeah.
saying, I'm talking about the life lived. Thankfully, fear as a primary motivator in that situation is not going to work because it's the only way to renew that resource is more trauma.
Yeah. And terror, and it's.
But if
not
love
the right fear.
is your motivation, then the way to renew that resource is deepening your relationships.
Yes.
So love is fuel that is renewable in a way that doesn't destroy the environment, whereas fear as fuel is also renewable, but it's going to destroy. You have to, you literally by definition have to have destruction in order for the thing to go. So that's why I'm saying it's not sustainable. And that's why you have there's no fear in love, perfect love casts out all fear. And that's because it's saying specifically those two fuels cannot work. You have to choose one or the other.
Well, it's interesting too because like if you have a fear of like something that's dangerous and you fear it, like let's say there's a huge dam and you have like that fear of it, you're like, I'm not gonna throw myself in by that dam.
Right.
Like if you're in a situation like that, you kind of feel this like fear toward it, but it's not like this terrifying fear because you're not in there. It's the type of fear that keeps you away from the terror. But then there are other types of fear that is terror in and of itself. And I think that's the unhealthy fear.
Fear is okay as long as it's love motivated fear. Right? So for example, if I'm by a dam, I'm going to be afraid of it because I love myself and I don't want myself to experience the pain of a broken knee or whatever it is if I fall down the dam. So that's good fear. Now, I'm 10 miles away from that dam. If I'm still trepidating about that dam, now I'm unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like all the other negative emotions. Like they're important to feel. Guilt is important to feel. You just can't stay in it. And again, guilt is another brand of fuel that you cannot drive the car on. You can get there. You can get 5 miles to your destination being motivated by guilt. But you're not getting across the country being motivated by guilt because once again, you have to traumatize yourself in order for that resource to be renewed.
Yep.
So what God wants is for us to be motivated ultimately by love because the way to renew that resource is to get closer to God, get closer to each other, forgive each other. That as a motivation is going to build you up as it replicates. All the other motivations are going to be destructive in order for it to replicate itself. And that's why the engine cannot run on fear. It's got to run on love. It has to.
Right. I thought, how did you think about the ending when he said, oops, oh shit.
You're just complicating this shit.
Well, it's because that's why I had that over there so we could click on it and easily get to it.
We don't need to put it on the screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, right there. No, I wasn't trying to put it on the screen.
You said it was at the end?
Yeah, he was. Oh, so let the devil come. I guess I was not a fan of that line because it still seems like a sort of focus on the. So let the devil come. Like, I guess kind of like. I have this sort of attitude right now in my life where I'm like, fuck the devil. I'm just going after Jesus. So I'm not. So maybe that's why I didn't like that line. But what do you think about that line? You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's a very masculine.
Like you're challenging the devil.
Yeah. I don't. If you look at, okay, so our war is not against flesh and blood, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the contests in the Old Testament, there's some bravado happening. David and Goliath, definitely. I'm going to feed your body to the birds, bro. Like, he didn't need to say that. That's just some chest pounding, like, machismo.
Yeah, but he's speaking to someone who's right there. Like, it almost seems like for instance, in Genesis, when we hear about the devil, we don't hear about how powerful he is. He calls him the beast of the field. He just, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, this, like, let the devil come. I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think I just think women are going to experience shit differently than men are. I don't see the difference. David's fighting Goliath. David understood that there was a spiritual power behind him, and he understood that there was a spiritual power behind Goliath. David didn't just think he was fighting Goliath. That's why he said, the Lord is going to hand you over to me, and then I will feed your body to the birds. So both are there. He's recognizing the spiritual aspect of it, but he's still bragging. He didn't need to call the guy an uncircumcised Philistine who he's going to feed your dead body to the birds. He was just shit talking. But that's dudes when they're at war. But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of shit talking that way. You kind of have to.
Shit talking makes sense, but like you see what I'm saying, or maybe I'm not being.
Well,
very
when
clear.
you say bring it to a situation, the guy is attacking you anyway. Right? Bring it just means I'm not afraid of you. It doesn't mean you're walking down the street minding your own business and now I'm saying bring it. That's not what's happening. When a dude says bring it, it's because the other guy is challenging him already.
Oh, okay. So he's saying,
like
I'm
women
ready
are gonna
for whatever you're
experience-
already doing. I'm ready for it now
Well,
because
I mean, if you're taught anything about spiritual warfare, and if you're doing anything for God, you're at war already. The way to invite demonic activity, if you're a Christian, is not to look into your mirror and say bring it to the devil. The way to invite demonic activity is to go out there and love your neighbor. That's when the devil shows up. So the bring it thing doesn't bother me. Like as a man, especially as a young man, hell yeah, you're gonna.
maybe this is a better, like, I feel like the person is like front facing toward God, and it's like this fear of the Lord, and it's like, I'm not gonna walk in fear, blah 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 blah, and then it's like all of a sudden like you're like, bring it, like why take your face over there to put it over there?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's because you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like to me,
I feel like people are gonna
to
get
me
offended by you saying that.
like picture's cringy to me.
Why?
It's just because we're at war. Like the context is war in the text. Like we can't be all, we're not monks, man. Like you're Jesus is the angel of the Lord.
Yeah.
So you think he was in the camp like he was about to kill nigga? You don't think he was talking shit to folks?
No, he probably was. Yeah.
What do you mean? With the herring of hell? I mean, I don't believe that Jesus went down to hell, but the whole like context is him talking shit and saying, "Look what I did! I beat you guys. I'm taking the keys. Nothing you can do. I'm running your shit, boy. I'm using your weapon to kill you." Like he's talking shit. On this rock, I will build my church. He's talking shit. He's saying, "I'm going to go into your backyard and build a church on your backyard, and there's nothing you can do to stop me." That's just, but I get it because you came up in the suburbs and you were given. I'm sorry, but you were given a very feminine Christianity. I'm not mad at it. You're a woman. It's great. I'm just saying, like me, I came up on the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that shit makes perfect sense to me. The only caution I'd say about it is like you just don't want to be too overconfident in how much grace you're operating in at the given time. Because I do see people, I've seen it a lot where people are like really excited, they're new Christians, like, come on, devil, and they have no idea what's about to happen. But it's not because they said, come on, devil. It's because once people were around us and they joined the team, they immediately went to work. They were going to work before they got baptized. So that's why they got attacked. They didn't get attacked because they said, "Bring it." That's
no. I'm not even saying.
That's
I'm
superstition.
not saying that like you shouldn't say it because then he'll come attack
Jesus,
you.
we do a little trolling. Hell yeah.
I'm saying like
You're always poking at people.
your
for
face
show.
is toward God so much that you don't even like. It is. You're at war with the devil, but you don't even have. You're not even stopping to even look at him to say anything to him
Yeah, I
because
think
you got
that's
bigger
cheese.
things going on.
I think that's cheese.
What? How can you think it's cheese?
Because like you're at the camp, like your side is about to go up against their side, and then like they show up, and then you're just sitting there praying and looking at Jesus while he goes out and slaughters all the Canaanites.
Well, you remember that?
Like I want to kill some Canaanites too. Like
You remember what? Yeah, I
I want to
understand.
talk shit. And that's what we did. We used to say, "Hey, this used to be a bar. We cut down the stripper poles."
Yeah.
We're talking shit. That's what that is. That's why in the NCAA, when you beat the other team,
Yeah.
you go to their net and you cut down their net. So that's when we were taking care of them stripper poles. That's what we were doing. We were saying,
Okay. All right.
So yeah, no, like that. That's why I love that chosen scene when they had Jesus hemmed up on. Jesus looked at him and said, "Nah, y'all ain't gonna do that. Get out of my way." And he just. And then he looks up to heaven, a little smirk, and he keeps it moving. Like that was real.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he was. Like there's a reason people wanted to kill him. He trolled people.
Well, I mean.
Dude waited till it was a Sabbath and then healed the
Yeah,
guy
oh,
and
I
told
know,
him,
yeah.
pick up your mat and
Yeah.
sent him over there to start
Well,
a fight
for
with
sure,
them boys.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's Jesus.
Yeah. So when he talks shit, he's always gonna win. When I talk shit to the devil, it's like a 30-70 split.
How often you talk shit
But
to
I
him?
don't have a pro. But again,
Is that like a prayer to the devil?
But like, can't both of these kinds of things exist simultaneously? Like, why does there have to be like one right and one the other? You're a woman, so if a war is happening, you want to look at Jesus. Okay, me, if shit is happening, I want to be in the middle of shit.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I think I'm looking at more, you know, like the times where they would worship till the stuff came down. Like for me, like I'm like thinking like that.
Yeah, that was one time. Right, like the walls of Jericho.
No, then there was the other time where they
time.
just made the noise.
No, that was the walls of Jericho.
No, there was the other time in the camp, and then the people ended up killing each other inside the camp. Like they fought against themselves.
This is the Lord
where they
sent a
crushed
spirit. The Lord sent a spirit of confusion when the
Yeah.
guys were fighting with Gideon.
I believe that's what
This
the
is
one.
the
Yeah.
Lord sent a spirit of confusion.
Yeah, but what were the people doing?
They weren't doing nothing. They were killing folks. I'm just saying, like for example, we had that active shooter situation, right?
Yeah.
And obviously that happened spiritually before it happened physically. Your thing was to sit there and cry and pray and stuff, and other people did different stuff.
I never cried.
But you know what I'm saying? You were there, you know, praying, you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
other people were doing, you know, different
Yeah,
shit.
I'm gonna be honest. I hardly prayed too. I was not in a good spot.
But my point is, like, I don't think you have a wrong or right response, and neither do I. I just think that I'm a dude, so I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, we do that shit. You're gonna be more like, yeah, we should have our eyes on Jesus and pray. You know what I'm saying? And I think both of those are valid. And I think if Christianity has too much, we become like the Republicans, and if we have too little, we become like the Democrats. So, you know, that's what I think.
Yeah, I was more sitting by the door
Elijah,
thinking if somebody comes through, I am absolutely gonna do everything I can to stop them.
I mean, Elijah was out there talking shit. Oh, maybe your God's in the bathroom.
I know, yeah, that was always a little surprising to me.
Yeah. Like, that's what we do.
Well, I think that
He was about to kill them folks.
yeah, I'm.
What do you think? Cut their
I don't
throat?
think that you should like just like put me in like this little preppy box because that is a part of me. Like, but I always feel like that shouldn't be. So I appreciate being able to have that like sort of talk shit side, but I just feel like it's not appropriate. But you know, I do appreciate these examples. I'm not completely sure about it, but I do like it.
I what I'm saying is like I think you should remain like the way that you are. Like I think that's cool, and I think I should remain the way I am, and I think that's cool. Like, why does it have to be one way or the other way?
Yeah, well, no. I'm saying I always, like, okay, when I was a kid, there was a song that we used to sing, like, I'm going to beat up the devil black and blue, and something will take the chicken out of you. I don't know. And I used to love singing that song in the bathroom, especially because there was the mirror, and you were supposed to do the Bloody Mary thing by the mirror, but instead I would do, like, the beat up the devil thing.
Yeah.
So I did like that. So that was after I decided to stop praying for the devil. But anyway, like, so I do have that side of me, but I always feel like that side is not supposed to be there. So I appreciate the fact that it can be there.
Nah, there was a battle of Uhud, I think. And one of the young cats, he put on a red bandana and he started strutting back and forth. And Muhammad said, that is a walk that Allah hates other than in jihad.
Well played.
Yep. Yeah. So I was stroll out there to the abortion clinic. I was on my shit, boy. Hell, and we were out there trolling them folks like crazy.
Oh, I know.
We were trolling that demon over there. At
Oh,
the
I know.
abortion
Yeah,
clinic.
I loved doing that.
I'm gonna give this song a 7. The lyrics were a little too preachy for me, man. I mean, I know that they're brothers. You know, they're on the team, but man, it sounded like some youth group kids wrote a song. Like it was a youth group project. Like, all right, guys, here's 2 chords. All right, and we're gonna make a song about Jesus and how we're gonna give the devil an eye jammy. It was a cute song. It's a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna give it an 8.6. I do agree. I felt like it was a little.
This is interesting. Vin and Sori switcheroo or roles. What do you mean by switching roles?
You have to be me and I have to be you with our perceptions on things.
How is that even possible? You mean like this?
No, I think she means like I would be the aggressive one that like wants to kill Well, I was literally gonna use your phrase, but I'm not trying to say that online.
How am I the one that wants to kill? I'm the one that's telling people that violence is not the way.
No, like Jamie stuff, and you're the one that has to be like me and be like, we should, pray about this or whatever however you perceive me to be, like that woman version that you just were. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I think that's what she means.
All right, we'll go with that. It's a 7. You gave it 8.6.
I give it an 8.6. I appreciate that. I do think that.
You like youth group.
You
were
like
a youth group person.
Yes, I do like
Literally,
youth group.
she was a youth group person.
I do like youth group. I do like that sort of vibe. I did feel like that the song was like, I felt like that we were getting somewhere because we got like, it was kind of like, it was more metal, but I still felt like that the Christians, we gotta go more. Because
what do you mean go more?
I just feel like our stuff should not be.
Our shit is trash, bro.
Yeah, I feel like that we accept stuff that we would not accept from, like, you would not accept that from Metallica or whatever if you wanted to try, like, really go far with something. So that would be my thing. But I did appreciate it, and I liked that the message was about the fear thing, because I do think that fear and, well, anxiety and fear are the same thing. But hey, what did you just switch? What?
Why was I not informed about tonight's stream? I stared at Discord for 11 hours straight. Bro. The only person I ever tell we're doing streams to literally is Hell.
And why she didn't inform you is not on us.
She's the only person. It's so bad too because everybody else is on text. But Hell, I have to go onto Facebook to do it. But I'm always like, 5 minutes. I'm gonna hit up Hell. No, like
sorry, Dwayne.
Like, look, the song was came out in 2012 around there, and that's when like the Christian hardcore stuff was really like taking off, and they were part of that whole movement. What's up,
I appreciate
Hidal?
It. I appreciate it. So I'm going with the 9.6.
Amilcar Hidal, what's up, buddy? Solid 7. Hey, listen, dear listener, the night has just begun.
Yes.
There's 37 of you beautiful people. We're gonna have to cut the stream short if we don't get to 45.
Get the likes
thingamajiggies.
up. Get the likes up. What's up, Emily? You guys, there's
MJ in this bitch.
39
Commercial
people
break.
in here. We should be able to get thumbs up or thumbs down. Doesn't matter.
Hey, a thumb up or a thumb down, baby. It's your decision.
We're not going to be that controlling.
Remember them books that you used to get as a kid? Like you could choose like the ending of the story?
Oh. You know what I remember?
And then the thing didn't end well, you just go back.
Pop-up books. Did you like pop-up books?
Hell
I
yeah.
loved pop-up books.
Hell yeah. I wonder now, like, if we even showed our 3-year-old a pop-up book, he'd be like, what the fuck is this, Mom? I can't play this.
They'd probably,
They would
break
destroy it. They would destroy it.
I think they would still like it, though.
Listen, I thought the pop-up books were like the apex of technology,
Me too.
bro.
I thought it was like magic.
I was from Jamaica. We didn't have none of that shit in Jamaica. No pop-up books and dioramas and shit. We didn't have none of that, okay? We wanted to play soccer. You took an old juice box, stuffed it with dirt and rocks, and, like, you just kept doing it, and boom, there was your soccer ball. You had 2 stones, rocks on board
yeah,
side.
but you say stuff like that.
That would be a goal.
And
so I show up, and I'm like, all right, cool. All right, we got books. I love books. I'm like, shit, white people got a lot of books. Man, I sat down at that table with my fucking little orange juice and my cookie, and this white lady said, "Wow!"
What was it?
And that motherfucker went, "Woo!" I said,
my word.
This is witchcraft.
Magic!
I said, oh my God, these white people got pop-up books and shit. Little guy walking the dog. And I'm like, oh my God. I put my hand, hey, nigga, get your hand off the
No,
list.
stop it! Stop it!
I just playing. She's there to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That Catholic church, they love me. It was St. Andre's primary school, it was called. And them little white nuns, they love me. I was their little
What
black.
was her name? I can't remember
little
now.
black butterball.
Angeline?
That's what she used to do all the time.
She did?
Oh, they love me. They love me.
You know what? Were you the only black
I was
jelly
the only
bean?
black jelly bean. I was 5 years old, 4 years
my
old,
word.
straight from Jamaica.
Did
And
you
I was
still have your
I was
little
doing
accent?
like I knew my 3 times table at 4 years old. You see what I'm saying? So, but they couldn't put me in the next grade because a 4-year-old in first grade is ridiculous. All right, guys.
We'll be right back.
Commercial break. We will be right back.